Yeah, the main thing from these skins though is just don't let yourself get tilted. Even though they were some unfortunate ones, we still just want to focus on what we can do better. I know that's kind of cliche and it's kind of something that's said a lot of the time, but it does hold quite a lot of value. So Hullbreaker is ridiculously busted at the moment. I mean, I say at the moment, it's been busted for a long time.
Yeah.
So let me just get pen out. So the base stats alone come to 116% gold value. So that's without any of the stats alone. So just off the base alone, it's 116%, which means you get 16% bonus gold, which is nuts. And it's around 500 gold cheaper than most mythic items. So you can get such a huge power spike off it. And the good thing about it as well is in laning phase, Phage is pretty good because it gives a massive amount of regen. And also pickaxe is nice as well. Now what you can do is what we did this game too, because sometimes pickaxe is, a little bit out of what you want on Garen because you are kind of like a bruiser. So what you can do sometimes is in games like this where we're hard winning, we can actually play around getting a reset timer around completing Hullbreaker, which is one of the biggest things I think to take away from this video is that we have to kind of or game review is that we have to kind of focus on our back timings a little bit more because we were trying to force back timings that weren't really going to give us a significant amount of value even though we didn't need to, right? So we need to start thinking about kind of like our overall back timers and then play around that. So yeah, 116%. I think in total the item goes up to 198% total gold efficiency after kind of everything. So when you initially build the item, you're getting a total of 466 roughly. I think it's 466.17 gold for free. So this is just free gold. So as soon as you finish the item, you get over a kill worth of gold, which is great. And at level 18, it's about 2.7 thousand gold for just for free. It's like plus 2.7k in total. So it's crazy good. Yeah, so the item is busted. A lot of people are taking it, which as you saw in the next game, the Vayne took it, which isn't amazing. But getting, I think it's 5,500, I'll just say 50, around about this, in total gold value at level 18. So you basically double the gold value that you get out of it. So it's ridiculously broken. And even if you're not using the passive, even if there's somebody around you, you still get that massive amount of gold value from the base stats, so it's very good. And build path is great. Now on top of that, obviously, I don't know, have you ever read the passive before? Do you know what it actually does exactly?
A Hullbreaker?
Yeah.
Yeah, it buffs cannon minions and increases tower damage when you're alone.
Yeah.
And resistances.
Yeah, so if you rush the item from level 1 to 10, the resistances don't change either. They don't actually start scaling until level 10. It's 20 at level 1, and then it goes up to 24 level 10, 28 level 11, etc, etc. Up to 60 in total at level 18, which when you're playing things like Garen, who are kind of big overall kind of tanks, that amount of resistances late game, considering you're building a lot of HP in your bruiser items anyway, is very good. And yeah, you also get 10% bonus size, so it means that when you are kind of in a team fight situation, it's much easier for you to soak damage from everybody else. And then yeah, you deal that 200% bonus damage to structures as well, which means, if you end up getting left alone, I've taken it on, say, Xin Zhao jungle, and I've ended up in positions where the entire enemy team are messing about in topside, and I've literally just taken from tier 1 all the way through to their tier 4 Nexus towers, like just with one push. So it's ridiculously good, especially if you know to stack a wave up later on into the game. And Jen, it's just very good. So let's go into the actual gameplay, see what happened. We did kind of forget to leash Ford earlier because we were discussing the game state, but It's not the be all end all. Now, again, this is kind of one of the things where you sort of have to critically think about what kind of the champions do. So Gwen is a champion who excels into very long range skill shots, abilities, and auto attacks, because if it's outside of a circle, completely everything gets cancelled. So we actually saw this later into the game where the Lilia tried to sleep her, and you just can't, because unless you're inside the ring. Now this is completely fine for Garen though, because your entire playstyle is around running into the ring, and although she can do a massive amount of true damage with her Q, she does need to scale up a little bit, as long as you don't take a fight at like level 1, because she's very, very strong at level 1. You're pretty good through and through. So yeah, so again, there was a little bit of lag here and there, but we can still kind of see what happened. So this is fine. Just kind of these trades we were going for. Although we did we got those minions, which was good. So we do kind of want to keep the wave in this kind of position for the majority, just because she's not going to really be able to do anything against you, and also your Lilia is pathing towards bot side too, which Graves is already bot. So in this position we can actually be pretty aggressive all round. But one of the things you also want to do is when you're playing aggressive in the lane, whereabout do you think you want to be positioned overall?
Probably pretty up close, like pretty pressure in the bush.
Yeah, like these areas. So these areas you don't really want to go towards as often, because there's no way to reset minion aggro. So if you kind of go for a trade like this, you're going to take minion aggro for too long. So you want to kind of start playing more towards these kind of sections of the lane, just because then you can use the bushes a bit more when you're being aggressive. Obviously, if they are the aggressor, you want to play more towards the bottom side of your lane, because, you know, they will end up taking more minion damage in that case. But so yeah,
right.
she can obviously jump away from you, but it doesn't really matter too much. With kind of lanes like this, what you're trying to do is you're trying to just wait for her to mess up, which she does quite often. So even here, for example, like this trade was fine, but the thing is we do have Conqueror. So we want to basically play it for a little bit longer. So right here, for example, like she did jump away, but what we could have done is we could have got a Q off on her as well, because we already have a huge HP advantage. And if we get that Q, it's going to be really, really good, especially considering there's a cannon. And then what we're going to be doing is we're going to be setting up the lane in order to punish her as soon as she comes up. So due to this HP advantage that we have, we're going to be looking to punish her when it comes to this cannon time. So what we want to do in these situations is you actually want to get, say, 1 or 2 autos onto your cannon, just because it's very high. But the thing is, this wave is going to push in anyway. So because the cannon's quite high HP, we want to get an auto or 2 into it early. Actually, it just pushes in way too hard, I guess.
Yeah.
We can't really stop. We do actually, this is where we get a recall off though, which is still pretty nice. So in these situations, what you want to be doing is you want to use your HP as a resource to push the wave as well as your abilities, right? Because it doesn't really matter if you take damage here. So even in this situation, you want to be walking up and using your E like here. Even if you take damage from her in the tower, she's never going to win a fight in this area, because you've got like 2 minion waves already, and we're going to reset anyway. So even if we've got like that much HP, it really won't matter, because we're going to go back and get full HP anyway.
Yeah.
So you know, our push is a little bit slower than it could have been, and she can never really hold that wave anyway. So we get a nice reset off. So here, this is kind of where we also need to play the wave that we've already set up, right? Because she hasn't reset right now. But as you can see here with this wave, even though it's a little bit laggy, you can see what's happening, right? The melees are coming in front of the casters, and there's those 3 additional casters, 1, 2, 3, from the previous wave. So now we're setting ourselves up to get a freeze back here, where we can just zone her off entirely. So that's what we kind of want to look to do. I feel like a lot of the times what we're doing is we're kind of using our E a little bit too often, and it's making it so that we can't really punish her as much. So here we've got another wave coming up. This was, see, it was a bit meh because, so not only was the wave coming in to be in a good position for us. Do you remember we've covered the push and pull rule before, right?
Yeah.
So this is pulling into you, so you want to play a little bit defensive and just wait for it to come in here, where this wave will actually stall it in this area. And then as soon as it's stalled in this area, we can trim it off, and then that's when we want to look to go in. Because what we can do is we can run her down like this, and she's got all of this distance that she needs to traverse to get back to her tower. So if the wave is here and we chase after her and she runs even a little bit, what's going to happen is we're going to start a fight here, and this wave is actually going to it's not going to target us, and we're not going to take the aggro, but the wave is still going to freeze in that area, you know.
Right, yeah.
Whereas here we kind of ran into, we took a fight. Why do you think this is also a little bit of a bad moment to take a fight? What should we have been taking into consideration in this frame? Because we've just got to reset off. We've got a huge wave pulling in. But what else does that mean? What does she have more than you have?
Gold.
I mean...
Or experience?
Yeah, XP. Yeah, that's what I was going for. So because she has more XP, she's going to hit level 5 here. So we have to be careful of that, because again, the reason why leveling up is so important is because when you kill minions, your gold goes into your pouch and it stays there. So it doesn't really, you don't really get use of it until you reset, right? Like it's like you're like, yeah. I don't know, like putting apples in a basket to make like a pie, but you can't eat the pie until it's made. So like with here, it's kind of like that. But when you level up, that's kind of like that instant boost of levels, not levels of stats, sorry. So leveling up is super, super important, especially in top lane. Now the reason why it's also super important in top lane is because a lot of bruisers, they scale ridiculously well with levels. So what this means is when you level up, the stat boosts that you actually get are actually very, very valuable. So if we look at somebody like Evelyn only gets roughly 500 HP, 500 gold worth of stats as she levels. But she has huge scalings, right? So she doesn't get as much from base levels, but it forces her to need to get kills and get farm leads in order to get those. Now, things like Garen and stuff like that. Now, Darius has the highest, if I recall correctly, or it might be Yorick. It's one of the two, at 652. I think it is Darius. So, as you can see, these bruisers get up to 652 gold. I think Garen is around 644. Don't quote me, but that's how much you get per level. So you can see that you're getting an extra, well, say 150 gold than say an assassin. So you scale very, very well off levels. So that's why you just want as much XP as possible.
For sure.
Because now the wave is in an okay position, but we kind of lost too much HP, so we couldn't really trim it off, you know. And then Graves does come to cover here anyway, so we just want to let this crash in, and then we farm it safely from there. So yeah, like, Garen is kind of a champion that can, I mean, she just can't grief that. Like, yeah, so
she baited her ignite too. I was kind of in a good spot.
Yeah, she baited it earlier, like, for some reason. And this is the thing, so one of the best parts about Garen is you fully stack Conqueror off a single E.
Yep.
So this is why you want those really long extended trades. So see how much further you can push your trades as well, especially if the wave is in a good location, because as soon as you get that concrete, you do so much.
Yeah, for sure.
So here this crashes, which is good. She didn't even get a chance to freeze it. Here we did make a little bit of an accident going for a dagger, but that's because I was a bit slow on telling you to go for HULLBREAKER actually, so that one was on me. But it didn't really matter too much in the end. So yeah, so again here we have to be a little bit careful, obviously, because of the wave state, but overall she is in a position that we can kill soon, but we do have to just wait it out, especially because she's got 4 stacks of her Q. So one of the main things that you always want to take into consideration with Gwen is these little purple bars under her HP bar will determine how many times she will snip her scissors with a Q. Yeah, and obviously that does true damage. So you want to wait for those stacks, kind of like Aurelia. You want to wait till the stacks are dropped and then you go to fight, because if they've got stacks, you'll never really win the fights.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure. I played a lot of Gwen on release and had a huge win rate with just stopped after like 20 games or something.
I think
I
she's
haven't really
pretty.
picked her up since.
I think she's kind of boring personally, but
Yeah,
um,
I was just really permafarm. That's the thing. I
yeah.
never really got to do anything till late game.
I mean,
I don't
the
know.
thing is, Gwen does have certain windows that she can do a lot, like early into the game. Like level 1, for
Yeah.
example, she has
Yeah.
massive
Early.
trade
Yeah.
potential. But yeah, when it
Yeah.
starts getting to later on, that's why, obviously, at the start of this game, we said, if she does mess up, we will kill her. But overall, we're kind of looking to wait until level 6 ish before we do anything crazy. But it's actually a good. So this was actually the example of the sleep not going through. So even though the E
Yeah.
hit, it's outside of a radius.
So
So
if Lilia was in the bubble, it would have went off though, right?
yeah, then it would go off. Yeah,
Okay. All right. Just checking how it works. All
yeah.
right.
So say if Lilia comes in and W's into R, then it'll work. But just R, it just won't go off.
All right.
I think the only thing that goes through is like obviously like things like ignite still go through. Like anything that was applied before, I think still continues to go through. But so yeah, so here we get a huge gold advantage. Now, one of the reasons why we want to go for Phage here, now this is a bit counterintuitive to what I usually say, because most of the times what I'll say is go pickaxe, so that if you have to reset and you don't exactly have 1100 gold, you can, if you don't have 875 gold and you reset, you can still get this or this. But when it comes to Hullbreaker, like Phage gives you a massive amount of value due to the fact that it gives you 2% of your maximum HP healing over 6 seconds. So 2% of your HP is a considerable amount, especially considering you can proc it over and over and over. Now in the jungle, it's completely useless. It's terrible in the jungle, but in laning phase it's super good because you end up being able to sustain lane really easy. Now with Garen as well, this ties in very well with his passive, which also heals him for a massive amount. But yeah, and the base stats are also 96% on Phage 2, so they're very good. And like the thing with pickaxe is Garen does like AD, don't get me wrong, but you don't really want to be straight up buying a pickaxe because your damage also scales with how long you stay alive in the fight, right? Like especially with your Conqueror, with your E. So having that HP advantage is super valuable. So this is kind of the moment where you have to kind of choose what you want to do. So in this specific scenario where we're dominant in this lane, the wave is coming back into a good position for us. And we do want to, so see here, we int it again. Do you see that? We kind of walk in and we just instantly E when the wave was coming back into us. And although that can be great, like in some matchups when we're playing against Gwen and we've got such a lead, we want to let the wave come in and then just zone her off entirely. So the main thing that you're looking for is to get that freeze around here and then just walk up. And then if she's like back here and she can't walk up because you guarantee kill her at this kind of line, then what ends up happening is she loses all of the XP as well. So the XP, if I recall correctly, is 1500 range, which is basically, if you think of Varus Q, I think Varus Q is 1450 roughly. So it's basically a full Varus Q, and that's how far you need to zone them away. So just as like a rough estimate anyway. But she is griefing a little bit, especially like, so if say for example these kind of fights could go, so what am I trying to say? Like, if you were to engage when the wave is big like this and you have ultimate available, then it's maybe not too bad because you can run it down. But in general, you're just waiting for your ultimate to kill her again anyway. So yeah, just being a bit more careful about the wave.
Yeah, I was just going for short trades most of this lane phase and trying to poke her out, just knowing I heal more.
Yeah, I mean that is one thing, but you're at this point you're very much a kind of all-in kind of champion. So as soon as you have your ultimate, you can all in it quite easily, especially considering for some unknown reason she went with tabbies, which I don't think she realizes that your ultimate is true damage. So it's kind of interesting, but yeah. Oh, it was here actually. Yeah, the Gwen is immune. So we kill her. I think we kill this guy as well, right? Oh no, Oh yeah, we killed Jace here. I think this was Jace's first death. So yeah, now this is what I was saying at the start of the video, where we have to start controlling our reset timers, because we need 1700 gold right now to just straight up finish Hullbreaker. Now that's going to be such a huge power spike for us, that 300 gold away when we've got like 900 HP is completely fine with us actually staying on that amount. Like, it's not really gonna mean too much, especially considering Gwen is playing very scared right now and she's playing very behind. So we just want to look to clear out these waves, and this is the reason why Garen is so good, because these waves you can instantly clear them, force another wave in, and then you're fine. But here obviously we still need 200 gold, so straight away we should have just gone for the plate. The time that we spent to recall kind of put us behind a little bit, because now we don't quite get that plate, and we have to stay for one more wave. Again, our regen is ridiculous. 17.1 regen right now is huge, and Gwen doesn't even walk up to the wave either, so it's super easy. And now we've got full Hullbreaker, which the reason again why Hullbreaker is so good is because you build nothing but offensive stats, and then you get defensive stats out of it when you complete it. So it's
for sure
ridiculous. Yeah. What were we saying, sorry? You still there? Hello?
Do I mute? I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, I thought your internet died. Yeah, what did you say, sorry?
My bad, no. I was saying, I'm level 10, so I'm already getting the increased stats.
Yeah, so yeah, that's the thing as well, like, because you're in a solo lane with solo XP, like, even building a first item, you don't really get punished. Which, I mean, we're 4-0, so it's like, you will always get, to the point where you're level 10 or above when you finish it. So obviously if you're a little behind, or if you're into a really bad matchup like that Vayne matchup, I don't think we can go it in that situation, because it's a very hard counter. Even though we did win it either way, we can't really go for it, whereas here we can. Now again, like, this was actually good that you so I didn't even tell you to delay your dive here. This was actually good that you thought of that, because your ignite is actually coming up soon. So Gwen does heal quite a lot. We didn't check tab before the dive, so we don't actually know what she's got. But yeah, waiting for your ignite is super important. And then you're here. This was
I'm a little rough, but it's on.
Yeah, I mean it worked. And now obviously we get to clear these out. We've got a cannon on the way, and then this comes in. Obviously we walked a little bit too close there. Doesn't really matter too much. And now we buff our cannon, and we just do so much damage to it. It's kind of crazy. So now this is where you kind of have to change your playstyle a bit though with Hullbreaker, and just not leave your lane. Like, your value comes from the fact that if you're alone in your lane, you're ridiculously strong, you know. So you kind of want to avoid leaving your lane too much when you've got it, because you just want to draw multiple people up here, and then also farm their camps and stuff, right? So when we were talking about here as well, one of the main things that you don't want to do is you never really want to go for a mutual camp, or sorry, a jungle camp when there's a wave available. You'll always want to prioritize the waves first, because these are going to die off, right? And they're gonna you're gonna lose these if you go for the camps first. So get the waves pushed in, then go get the camps, and it's much easier. So here it's just a case of we're just continuously pushing over and over and over. But again, like, so you're kind of like, you play to protect your cannon as well when you play this.
Right.
This was a little bit rough, but we did still get it.
A lot of people don't expect that. I've kind of done it a lot, is like R-ing and going for it on auto.
Yeah.
You kind of delay it, but like, yeah, it's guaranteed damage. I found myself killing a lot of people with it.
Yeah.
And then this,
Yeah,
nice.
so one of the things, we didn't really check tab, but one of the other things that we had to do here is our passive has just popped, right? So what we want to be doing is we want to just sit back for now, and then just wait until the passive has healed us up a little bit, and then we go on in, because we're on what like a third HP, and he is on full, right? So let's just have a quick look. So we're healing up 41.7, right? So he's got a red buff, and what, 1,350 HP, and we have 1,000, but If we would have just
I
let
didn't
this
see him until it was like too late. Or
Yeah.
then I tried to stay, yeah. Because I didn't see, so, yeah, I guess he just running me. Yeah, I just wanted to leave. Fuck.
Yeah, if we would have just let this...
If I had R, yeah.
I mean, even if we didn't, like, even without the R, if we just healed up a little bit more, we could have actually killed him here, I think. Just because we have Hullbreaker and he doesn't, you know, and we're 2 levels up on him too. Actually, was it 2 or 3? Yeah, he's 11, so we're 2 levels up on him as well. So again, 1,200 gold on top of him just from levels 2, which is obviously very, very big. Now, I don't know why the Lilia decided to go and start clearing your wave stop. It's kind of annoying, but... Here, this way, we just kind of run it down. Unfortunately, we didn't get her. We do survive, though, if I recall correctly. Oh, no, we don't, sorry. The Jace managed to get us. It's a bit unfortunate. Obviously, we did overchase just a little bit to get the Garen.
I thought it'd be fast enough.
Yeah, it's fine. Like, I mean, it was close, to be fair. But either way, our main goal is to get this tower. Obviously, it's 550 gold, and that's basically going to start paying back for the Hullbreaker, you know. So after this, ideally, what we want to be doing is saying to bot, like, let me go bot, so that you can run into bot lane and get another tier 2 tower. Because this is the thing, when you build Hullbreaker and you get this far ahead, obviously, what you're looking to do is get your 2 towers, and then go bot and also get that tier 2 tower. So you end up with what? So like over 1,000 gold purely based on those 2 towers alone, which is obviously a third of the cost of Hullbreaker alone, without any kind of kills or the CS that you actually get while you're split pushing with it. And this is the thing, in solo queue, split push is usually always the kind of best way to go anyway. So this is kind of one of the things we have to do more, though. So I feel like we weren't realizing quite how strong we were, because like I had to say, you know, we dive her here, we dive her here, because we saw them elsewhere on the map. The Jace is dead, and he's the only real one that we're scared of. So in this position, what we need to do is we need to just dive her straight away, because we're so ahead of her, it's unreal. Even with 2,000 gold in our backpack, we're still way stronger than her. So yeah, you want to basically punish them for going bot. So it's like right here, they've all gone bot to get that dragon. Okay, great, it's whatever. Big fight, we now end up pushing and getting it. So to be honest, I think even going for this Gromp at this point was a little bit kind of a little bit grief, purely because we saw them all bot, right? So we could have dove her way earlier. And as you saw, it was very easy to actually get the dive off. And now we end up getting the inhibitor, which is kind of, that's our job, right? So after we've got the push off, that's when we should be looking to go and take them camps away, as we're looking to reset. So the pressure that you exert is always more valuable than taking the camps when you're in these kind of situations. But here, this is fine, we get that, and we also get out. Dead Man's Play is obviously pretty good. Now, I don't know, like, I don't get, like, I think it's ridiculous how many people go Mortal Reminder on Garen. I just think that it's really not that great. I feel like on Garen, if you have bow damage, and that's more valuable anyway. So here we managed to kill the Jace, which is good. So here, like, to be fair, we could have just gone on him directly, but it doesn't really matter. So this, you want to make sure that you don't chase, because chasing here is really bad, because there's a cannon in this wave at the bottom here, and this is one of the things. So just as a recap, at what point in the game do you get 2 cannons away, a cannon every other wave?
Oh, I'm not sure actually.
Okay, so 15 minutes you get a cannon every other wave. And
isn't it always every other wave, or is it every? No,
it's every 3. So pre-15, it's every 3 waves.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then at 15, it's every 2 waves. And then when do you think you get one every single wave?
30 minutes?
No, it's actually only 25.
Oh,
so right. 25 minutes, you have a cannon every single wave.
Cannon every wave.
Yeah, wow, every single wave. Yep. So this is why Hullbreaker is also very good, because every single wave, you have a cannon that you can use to buff and kind of get siege off. So this is why split pushing is ridiculously broken, and this is why when the item was originally released, I was commenting everywhere how broken it is and how it's going to basically destroy the game and it's meta changing, and it just didn't happen because nobody wanted to take the risk of trying a new item, right? Like, especially in pro play, a lot of the game's balance and stuff comes from people seeing pro play and going, oh, this is the best, we'll go with this. But then pro play, nobody wants to take a risk with something new when they can just perfect what they're already working on, right? So it's only just now, especially after the TP changes, people are realizing, oh, this item's a little bit too broken.
Has it been nerfed? Because I think it's been so strong since it was released. Yeah.
No, it got buffed, if anything. I think it was originally... when it was released, I think it was originally like 40 resistances, or it might have been 20 each. Actually, I think it was 20 to 45, and then they buffed it to 20 to 60. So yeah, it's very, very strong. And that's without the minion buff as well. So it also, this is the thing as well, it also gives your siege minions up to 180 armor and magic resist. So your siege minions also become ridiculously hard to kill, especially if you get Baron as well. It becomes kind of insane. Now here we can't really dive because we don't know where the Jace is, but you know, we do want these to kind of go away, and so that we get a boarding party, but they decide not to, so we just have to run away at this point. And obviously we don't see them, so we can't go back. Getting blue trinket is very good as well, because what you want to do is you want to start kind of scattering wards throughout the jungle. So what you want to do usually is when you split, you want to start your wards. So you'd start a ward here, and then you'd say put a ward here, and then you'd go here, and then what you want to do is you slowly want to go throughout the entire jungle with blue wards. Now obviously in low elo you can potentially ward all of the brushes because people don't check, but in this elo people will probably check a little bit more for your blue wards. But yeah, overall you want to just try and get as many as you can down so that you get a massive amount of vision when you're kind of pushing. So this was kind of one of the things, right? Like, so this was fine, but then the...
Yeah, I shouldn't have walked this way.
Yeah.
I should have tried to kite it more. Yeah, pistol.
Yeah, if we would have pulled it back a little bit, then we would have been okay, but... Yeah, it's just a little... So why do you think going for that fight there was a little bit risky anyway? What else do you see on the minimap right now, which is a really big kind of thing for you?
Dragon, and then its entire team's coming up. And, yeah.
Okay, so what do they need to deal with right now?
Stopping him.
Yeah, there's 2 super minions up top here. All we need to do is we need to wait for them to start sieging, and then we can continue the siege in bot lane, because they're going to have to send multiple people to clear those out. Because one person alone is not going to be enough. They're going to die to it, right? So if we survived in this window here, we could have helped siege this, and then this would have sieged, and we could have got that inhib. So we're a little bit impatient, and that impatience kind of really cost us. I think that threw quite a large amount of tempo in that moment, to be completely honest, and they even got bounties here then. So here, this is another kind of... we can't really dive her, but... she did use her ultimate here.
Fucking ends. Oh,
yeah, this is where it ends.
God, like, so sad, man.
Yeah, I can't believe they actually lost super hard there, to be honest.
Both of these games were just so unbelievable.
Yeah, I think, I mean, to be honest, I think we probably could have killed Gwen here. I mean, we do have our flash up. Yeah. We could have just gone on her. Because, again, we're level 17, so we've nearly got 60 armor and magic resist just from it. Look at our stats right now. We're very, very big. So I think here we should have actually just continued committing to this Gwen and just killed her off. Because the Graves isn't going to be able to stop us, like, massively either, right? Because we've got so much armor right now. So I think if you would have just continued to fight her, considering her ult is gone there, your ultimate just completely melts her as well. And then after you've killed her, you can potentially kill Graves as well, and then reset and see if you can help them there. Yeah, he did flash into that brush there, so he did actually manage to get you. But yeah, so I think one of the biggest things is we just have to push our leads a little bit more with these champs. So I think for the week, just again, remember what we said with the accounts. Your main account should be for top lane and majority Garen, to be honest. I know it's going to be a little bit boring. But it will get you to diamond, and that's the next step that you need to get to in order to improve. And then if you just don't want to play Garen and you want to play other things,
if I can alternate between Darius and Garen consistently, I should be fine.
That's okay. Yeah, so obviously Darius is a little bit difficult inside the laning phase because you have to get a lot of pressure off. But I think one of the main things is we need to just make sure that we're fixing those kind of things with the laning phase, not really rushing into doing things, and then also. And again, Darius can also take HULLBREAKER too, like if you're in a situation where you can get a lot of value out of it. But yeah, so I think
there are just some situations Darius is better in, like matchups that I can really exploit with Darius. But
sure.
He's a little more of a consistent win sometimes, or like laning phase.
Yeah,
anyway. But so I'll stick to the plan.
So focus on that. Like I said, I think you're already at a position where you can get to diamond. We just have to grow out this little bit of an annoying climb, and then when we're in diamond, we can keep climbing, and you'll get put against better players, and it'll be you'll learn a lot more. So focus on that for now. See how that goes. If you got any questions or anything, obviously just shoot me a message.
For sure, man. All right.